Hey everyone, this is Chris Keys for Premier Guitar, hanging out in Nashville, Tennessee, May 7th. We're at the end here in Nashville, as I said, with Josh. Josh, how you doing?
Good, man.
Thank you for taking the time. Josh is from Royal Thunder, lead guitar player, band creator, all this awesome stuff. So let's just dive in right now, Josh. Talk to me about your SG and what makes this important to you.
I just got this right before this tour. I had a custom that I ended up selling to a buddy. No, I didn't need to sell it. I was going to sell it to him. But ended up doing it. No, actually, I don't. I actually did a trade. I was like going through some crazy stuff in my life. I was like, I'm going to drive up to Nashville and do a random trade with somebody. And so I traded a custom for it that I had. I've been looking for one with the Maestro. And, just got it right before tour, man, and I haven't really been able to keep my hands off of it. It's got the Bare Knuckle Stormy Monday pickups in it. It's got the Crazy Parts aftermarket Maestro.
And those are both things that you put on it, or that were already in the guitar when you got it?
Yeah, it was already in it when I got it, and man, it's just, I think it makes all the difference in the world, because you can actually, you can use
you can play it.
You can play it and it stays in tune because the break angle is actually correct to the original specs.
Gotcha.
So yeah, love it.
Would you say that's like your main guitar that you're using throughout the night currently?
Yeah, this and the Yamaha for sure, yeah.
And strings, string gauges, and company. What do you use?
Dunlop, man. Dunlop's been really good to us. Use the Dunlop, just 11s.
Okay.
Great sounding strings. Always seem to break in really quick. So.
And guitar picks. People were always curious about that.
Yeah, the Dunlop .73s Tortex.
And why do you dig the 73s? Because those are a little more, I'd say, below the little looser, little flimsier. Why do you like that?
Yeah, I'm not that heavy of a hitter, so I feel like it really, I can dig in a little bit more with it. It always connected with the 7.3s for some reason. It's just always what felt best to me.
Good combination there.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. Well, we talked about the SG. I want to know about these two beauties here. If you want to, I don't want to pick them up unless you're cool with that.
Yeah, pick them up.
Excellent. All right. So what's this guy?
Now that guy, that's the Yamaha RevStar series that they completely customized exactly to my specs.
So what did you requested? You even went to the gold hardware?
Yeah, everything, all gold hardware. I wanted the vintage white, the plexi pick guard and truss cover. Ended up going with the Lollar low winds, which I love. I mean, we were talking about it earlier about how the biggest problem I have with most humbucker guitars is that, to me, the neck is unusable. It just seems to really, I don't know, just be too boomy and not really cut through the mix. But with the low winds, it's just really, you got that great clarity, and it sounds great in all the positions. But so they did everything. They put the Vibromate, that little, that's like a lifesaver, man. That little piece right there.
We just did one with Billy Howardell. Or who did we just do a rig rundown with? And they had that, and it was a time saver. They were saying, Rival Sons.
Yeah. It's the absolute.
He was a time saver for changing strings.
I mean, it made me change my mind about Bigsby's, because that's a pain in the ass changing strings on a Bigsby for sure. So
have you noticed anything about having the extra, like just the little bit of string pull there, or nothing? Because I don't know if that affects it at all. I think the throw's
a little bit different, but other than that, man, it's really on point. Yeah, but everything about it. I love the. This is almost like a faux coil tap.
Okay.
That's really cool, but that's just a really great guitar, man. I know it's got the maple cap and mahogany, and the fret. The fretwork on the guitars and the attention to detail on those are just insane.
And speaking, I guess, out of turn, maybe is do you enjoy having low output pickups? Yeah,
I love them, man. I've always leaned towards, even before I got into the more boutique stuff. I was definitely into the the classic 57s and the burst buckers, the more lower output, more PAF style, but especially the low output. I went through a phase where I was playing Strats, so I really fell in love with the clarity of the single coils, and just that punch you get from them. So it's kind of cool to if you can kind of straddle both worlds with a lower output humbucker. You can kind of semi getting that ballpark, that feel.
I feel like as a listener that with Crooked Doors and Wick that you guys have such a broad range of tones, but like going back to self-titled, like Mouth of Fire, like you wouldn't expect that to be low output, just like people probably don't expect to have low output pickups with 20 Iommi.
Yeah.
But like you guys still have that the tones there, the bites there, there's, you know, the drives there.
Yeah, I think back in that point I was using like one of those studio Firebirds that had I think I ended up putting like burst bucker 5s in there.
Okay.
You know, which
so pretty standard.
Yeah, pretty standard, but yeah, I really love the low output. I think it lets like you can hear more of the guitar and like the amp and everything else opposed to an overpowering pickup.
Cool. Well, let's dive into this one. I'll put this one down, and the third and final guitar that you have, if I can be so gentle with it, is your Telecaster.
Yeah, this actually I ended up getting it from a friend of mine, Mike, and he I think when he got it, it had that in there. So I don't really know much about that. I don't know if that's a vintage one. I haven't had a chance to crack it open.
How long have you had it?
I've had it about 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah. But I love it, man. I mean, you know, the finish work, most of the road warns, like they kind of overdo it at times, but I think that they knocked it out of the park with that one. I mean, it's a good weight too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's really a great piece.
And is this just primarily a backup right now, or does this get put out for certain songs?
No, you know, it's so funny. I bring guitars out sometimes to like play, and I always generally gravitate towards one guitar or 2 guitars. So that one really hasn't even seen any play this tour. I kind of wish I would have, maybe next tour.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Shit. And I imagine that these are still with the Ernie Ball, or I'm sorry, the Dunlop strings too?
Yeah, the 11s. Yeah, all of them have the Dunlop 11s.
And what are you guys tuning to for the most part?
D standard.
Okay, that's pretty much all your guys' songs?
Yeah, across the board, yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to set this down and let's move on to this amp because I want to know about this Marshall and that Marshall and the fact that I don't see an Acorn anywhere around here.
Okay, yeah. We're going to talk about, I was about to get to that.
So, talk to me about this Marshall.
That Marshall, we just got hooked up with, actually with Marshall. So we just got this, I just got this 1987X with the hand-wired 412 that has the Heritage G12H30s.
Got rid of the A10.
Well, yeah, you know, it's funny, we have a Sprinter, and right before we left, like, it broke down, so we ended up having to, like, raw dog it like old school day and pile in a van. So, you know, it really turned out to be like, all right, we're taking half stacks instead of, because normally we'd run 2 rigs at a time, like run a stereo, 2 amps. But this is a stock 1987X. The only thing I did was remove the 4700 picofarad bright cap, which is just, you know, just take your head off the gate.
You're just being a geek now.
That's right. I'm just showing off. But yeah, and going back to that, okay, you know, I learned a lot from Acorn Amplifiers. I worked there, you know, when I'm home a lot, and I do have, like, I had to leave it because I'm actually getting ready to change the transformers out in them because they're a little bit underpowered from what I wanted.
Is it hand wound? Is it something that Acorn does, or are you guys getting from Mercury, or the transformers?
I think I'm going to try some Mercuries.
Okay.
But you know, it's the 50 watt that I built. It's all hand wired. You know, it has all carbon comps. I mean, spent hours on that thing. I mean,
I've seen some of the pictures of the hand wired.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so super stoked on how it turned out. It just needs that extra headroom of like maybe the Mercury Magnetics or, you know, something like that, just a little bit beefier. But I've been loving this, man. This has been, you know, I've probably owned about 4 or 5 of these 50 watt 1987Xs. That one is this is off of like CVI era. This was actually on that album, and some on Crooked Doors. That one is a piece of gear that like came back to me. Like I do so much trading gear all the time, like swapping pedals, guitars. Like any of my friends you talk to, they're like, "You're crazy." Like all the stuff I trade, but it's like it's the only way really I've been able to try out stuff.
Gears that way.
you know, of course you're gonna have the pieces you miss, but like you learn so much from it. But
yeah.
But that's actually a 1997 anniversary Marshall that there's a guitar builder, Nunes. He passed away. He did like the replica Les Pauls. I think he was actually from Georgia. He put a Hoffman hand-wired board in there. You know, it's like the Plexi 50 board, so it's got all carbon comps. Just a great sounding head, man. I really regretted getting rid of it and trading it when I did, and it was one of those things that I saw on Instagram. I hit the guy up, ended up doing a trade for it and got it back. So, the 412, it's got the G12H30 Heritage. I love those speakers. It's probably one of my favorite. Got some great chime, you know.
I know you're used to the 10 inches, but what do you like about having in this current setup of your rig, having the 412 with the 87X?
You know, I've played the 412 for years.
Okay.
I mean, so I'm very familiar with them. But the G12H30 is just such a great balanced speaker to me. I mean, it's got great chime, good highs, good lows, and you know, the mids aren't too much, and it's just a good balanced speaker. And it really has more headroom than say like a Greenback or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it, man. It's just such a perfect match. It's been a perfect match. It just has great presence, great punch to them. Yeah, I mean, and you know, right before I left, Celestion sent me some of the vintage 10s. Those are great speakers too. That's what I rock. I put in one of the 810s I have.
Right on. Well, I feel like this is the time where I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, and a favor to the viewers is to fire up your pedal board and give us some samples of what people can hear as you guys tour the states and the world here.
Yeah, man. So
maybe just start off and give people maybe a sound of like your core sound before it gets too affected.
Yeah. So this is obviously turned down compared to what we play live,
yeah,
but you know, I do run them clean, taking the bright cap out of these, jumpering the channels. You know, as soon as you take that bright cap out, it really gives you the ability to, you know, it has a usable clean. With the bright cap, it jumps. It's almost like it's jumping these knobs up really quick, you know. But here's the clean tone. Well, we got to turn it up. Got to turn this. So just, you know, punchy and clean.
Definitely loud enough.
Yeah, I mean
and that's turned down for the video purposes.
Yeah, so
and I'm sorry, before we go further into the pedal board, which we haven't yet, but is this 34s or KT?
Those are 34s.
Okay.
Yeah, those are stock 34s.
Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's love it, man. I mean, I've tried all kind of amps, and like the 1500 watt plexis have just been my go-to. I mean, loud and clean, and yeah. So I got a standard like mini Crybaby wah that Dunlop hooked me up with. That, you know, I had a.
Was that something you had to get used to? Was that
not
having a full pedal throttle?
It did, but like I love having that space, like that. It's almost like I'm kind of OCD about that. Like so, it's like weird having that other pedal like making this weird space. But you know, I was using a Custom Audio Electronics. The wah they had. That's one of my favorite full-size wahs, but actually the vintage setting on the mini Crybaby is awesome. I mean, it's very, very close to the
And you feel like the
CAE.
sweep's still the same?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you know, put a little dirt on it. Let's see here. So yeah, I mean, it definitely gets the job done. Next is, the one I was playing, the Petty John. I just picked that up.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. You just got that not too long ago.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away. You know, I didn't really know what to expect. Plugged it in and just, I mean, it's the gain range is insane on it. Some of the tone is really subtle, and I was like, oh man, is this working right, but it's dialed in right on, and even open it up and look at the components. I mean, they use some really great components in there. But that's a great just medium drive. I use it sometimes for, it's one of those pedals that's very touch sensitive, so you can actually dig in and almost get like medium, like really heavy medium drives. So that's so there's that guy. Love it. I definitely want to pick up that chime and the fuse. I'm definitely interested in hearing those two. Next is the King of Tone. Obviously, kind of that's just such a versatile pedal. You can do so much with, I got the high gain red side, and I mean, just that alone with the normal side and them together. I mean, if you can't get it done with that thing, man, you got some problems. Like as far as overdrives go, but very subtle. That's like just the light side, and then just some more rocking, and you can combine them together. And this is like, man, this thing's awesome. I've fallen in love over the years with the vintage non-LED rats. There's just something about them that like are really, really, really awesome.
What do you like about the LED versus the other styles of clipping?
Well, no, the non-LED. There's actually not a LED, which I do like LED clipping and rats as well. But the non-LED, there's just something about them, man. That just you use them as like a heavy drive, and it just rocks, man. I mean, it just integrates with the sound well. I don't know what happened over the years after the LEDs came in play. I actually had a tone knob at one time. That's one I really regret getting rid of. It was like a 78 or something like that.
Damn.
But here's this guy. And it really reacts more when this is cranked. But I mean, it's just a great sounding pedal. Just got the way huge, really, really great muff. I mean, I'm always like a dude that's like, all right, I want to like almost a clean boost, like a mid drive, a heavy drive, and then a fuzz. And
this is kind of how it's set up too. Like,
if I'm
looking at it correctly. It's
correct.
Like,
yeah.
It's incrementally being more gain.
Yeah, but I'm a huge fan. I got that from Brian at Dunlop, and I didn't know what to expect. I was like, oh, it's another big muff. But I've played a lot, and I really love how it reacts, man, and works with the rig. Before that, a lot of the positions in that position, I played like the Earthquaker Device hoof. I love that one. That's a great versatile one. I really like the Blackout Effectors, Musket Fuzz, and Blunderbuss. Those are awesome, and the Screddy P19. Those are like all those have been my top like big muff.
They've seen that spot in the pedal board.
Yeah, exactly. And this one, man, I'll go ahead and hit this right here. An Empress tape delay, like, man, this is like, I love that for like, a fuzz with that tape delay by Empress is just one of the best, I think, tape sounds ever. But so yeah, here's what a lot of times, like a lot of my solo stuff is just the Empress and like any type of the muff, which is like this one, like. So, really awesome sounding pedal. The Fuzz Factory, I've used that a lot on the past recordings. It's great. I mean, every single one has like a completely different personality.
So they're all their own little beasts.
I remember I had owned another one. I was at Chicago Music Exchange and literally went through. I was like, all right, I want to try every single one you got. So I went through like 10 of them, and because they all sound a little different.
And I'm sure if you had them all the same settings, they all did sound different.
Oh yeah, all differently, all interacted differently. The you know, right now that I've used that actually playing with them, but now I actually use that kind of as a tone generator. So like in between songs, I'll turn it down really low, but you know, I might turn on like this guy, and then, sorry y'all. So really good like tone generator for in between songs. So yeah.
And would you say, like, I don't know how much you guys go into the early stuff on this current tour for Wick, but were you getting like the drive for like I mentioned already, amplifier or anything off self-titled low? Is that would you say that's where lurking inside there?
No, actually, man, you'd be surprised. I'd probably use the Rat for that.
Okay.
You know, because at that point, like you're getting idea, like, you know, you're kind of getting like half of the sound of what it really sounds like, because this thing's usually right at the edge of breakup.
So it's
loud and clean, but it's not dirty. So whenever you add any of the gain that pretty much these are set at now, man, it sends it through the roof.
Yeah.
But you know, so I'd use something like that, or even dig in and play with that thing with the gain cranked. And this is an early non-LED as well, early 2000s, which they sound different. They was using different parts, I guess. Cool stuff. Got a Keeley looper, single looper that puts all of my modulation in. You know, they're all tagged in there. And I've always just used one. I don't know. I never got into like doing a full big. A whole looper, a switch for every single pedal, and that may be something I look into doing down the road. I don't know, but you know, so all my modulation, so signal goes through here into the super trim. That's kind of been a staple trim for a long time on my pedal board. It's probably actually the oldest pedal on my pedal board is that super trim.
Haven't traded that one yet.
No, I haven't. I love it, but actually, I just recently. Good friends with Jack DeVille with Mr. Black Pedals, makes some of the best pedals, awesome, unique pedals I've ever heard in my life. He just put out the Deluxe Plus, which is, you know, is a switch for the tremolo and the reverb.
Yeah, I was to say, yeah, like an old Fender.
But yeah, so like, you know, that's seen way more play actually on trim-wise recently. But yeah, I mean, you know, the trim is just great sounding trim. I mean, I love the fact you got the hard and the two different speed, you know, two different speeds in hard and softer clipping. Moving on, the Super Ego, I use that a lot on Crooked Doors. That was like, I don't even know if it's set up right. We'll see if it does acts right. Like I'd have this.
Like, was that something you used on floor? Like in that song?
Yeah. Like,
where it gets that pitch shift?
Like, let's see if I got it set up right. Let's see here, hold on a second. You know, I did that on a couple of songs. I love that pedal, man. It's so crazy some of the pedals Electro Harmonix put out that just does some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Really inspiring stuff.
That and another pedal that's similar to this is like Boundless applications would be the freeze. I don't know if you've
yeah, that's a crazy one,
That's
man.
another one too. That's
I love that pedal. Yeah, and the Timmy. This is a great. It's funny. I'm not using this pedal. I mean, it works great as it is, but I'm not using it as it should be. I noticed I was getting some signal loss, so it's a really versatile, very neutral overdrive to clean boost. And right now I'm just using it to push I was having some signal loss, but I think I'm going to get like one of those little CAE buffers.
to push it.
Yeah, to push it. So yeah, moving forward, this is off the last song on the new album, We Never Fell Asleep. Normally, and actually right there, I usually have like a pitchfork or a pog.
Okay.
But you know, like I'll use this like. So you get the idea on that. So.
And I think this is a section of the pedal board where I think these sounds are lurking is for the opening of Wick, the actual song, the title track for the new album. What's going on there for sounds?
Let's see, what is going on there in sounds?
I just stumped you.
You did. I know that I have like, I think I definitely had the pitchfork on, and probably just the tape delay. Just starting out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I played a lot, but this pretty much was the board for the record.
The record, okay.
Yeah, and you know, of course, you got this guy that just does the.
Yeah, what are you using the Mel 9 for?
You know, just I forget. I'm so terrible. We we use the title tracks or the working titles so much, but that that was used in a couple of songs on the album, and it's just really cool, man. I mean, it's really a usable effect that tracks really well.
Yeah.
So, super stoked to have that on there, man, and I really want to do some more with it. The next is the Hilamando, which is by Mr. Black Pedals. Once again, Jack DeVille, awesome dude, killer pedals.
What kind of pedal is that?
That's actually like an 8-stage phaser, man. It's,
all right.
It's one of my, one of my favorite. This really awesome lush. I think I use that on at the break at the end of Forget You, like with the fuzz. It's just like really just creeps and crawls and works really good with fuzz and really anything clean or drive. The Fox Rocks through Zero Flange 2, awesome. You know, I sometimes use it more like as like a Leslie effect.
All right.
You know, because it has the ramp button. I think I showed you earlier when I was doing the Super Ego, but you know.
Do you use that a lot?
Yeah, I use the ramp a lot because it just adds, you know, live. It just adds so much texture. You know, it's just adds some movement. Sometimes I'll use that like when I'm, you know, doing the tone generating stuff, like in between songs. Levitation, man, that's been one of my favorite reverbs. It's really versatile reverb. You can do it really subtle, really washed out. I always just use it pretty subtle. But great.
Since this is a dry amp, is that reverb on a lot, or is that pretty constant?
that one, and you know, like I said, the this guy has been really a great. That's more like a traditional.
Yeah, you would hear like a built-in reverb.
Yeah, that's been great. Now this guy I love, man. I use this a lot for noise. You know, I'll do like.
So very fun pedal.
Yeah, very fun pedal. Jack's always like, I don't know how you use that pedal, and he made it. He's like, I don't even understand how you use it. And then lastly, I mean, we talked about that, just no BS, you know, old school trim and reverb built into one. It's awesome. And lastly, man, Empress, they've been an awesome company. They hooked me up with some stuff. Like, this has been my favorite tape delay ever. That and the super delay are just staples, man. I mean, I use that and the super delay on so many recordings. So, yeah, that's kind of that's pretty much it on the pedals, man.
Man, I'm going to ask you just because I'm a fan, and you can maybe undisclose some information or disclose some information that I need to know about what's going on for the sinking chair, the solo that's happening there, because it gets pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
And so I'd be curious if you could at least maybe break down what's happening there with your sounds, or what pedals you're using.
You know, it's funny. I think I probably used the Rat cranked into this with, I don't even know if I even, maybe just a touch of reverb in that wah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, that's pretty much all it was, I think. And we just doubled it up in the studio.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe probably use the Rat on one, and what else would I probably would have used? Actually, I think I noticed you had a Sir shirt on.
Yeah, Perry does.
A Sir Riot probably on one of them or something like that. But
cool, man.
yeah, man. So
Josh, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man.
We'll talk to everyone else in the band.
All right.
All right.
Thank you guys.
All right, we're here with Mel. Mel, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. Mel, I didn't introduce her properly. She's a bass player, happens to also sing in the band. So, you got some Yamahas.
Yeehaw.
Tell us about those. Or this one.
This one is actually a brand new one. It's a BB Series 434. It's a really fucking awesome bass. They just gave it to me like a month ago.
So you're still breaking it in.
Yeah. So it got blood, sweat, and tears on it. It's just right now it's factory pickups, so I'd want to put Lollar pickups in there. So
I know before when I've seen you guys numerous times is you played the Guild 301.
the B301.
Yeah. So like, is that like retired? Is this like kind of taking its place? What's the story there?
The story on that is the neck on that started just like twisting and doing weird warped things, and I just figured, you know what, that was the first bass I ever played in this band, and it means a lot to me, so I just hung it up on the wall. Well, no, I didn't hang it up on the wall. My plan is to, but it's just kind of hanging out. It's hanging out in the band room somewhere. But yeah, I love guilds, but the more I started stepping out and playing, you know, other basses, I started falling in love with different companies, and kind of decided I didn't want to exclusively play guild as I thought I always would.
How did you get into the guild family? Because when I think bass, I think first obviously Fender, P&J, and then maybe after that you got Gibson with the grabber, and then beyond that Ernie Ball maybe too. It was in the second tier. But until I saw you play, I honestly didn't really think too much of guild basses, electric basses.
Yeah.
So how did you become a fan of 301?
Actually, my buddy Anthony Childs, who at the time was doing photography in town for a lot of bands, like just live shows, he purchased this cab, now that I think about it, and that bass, the B301, and he got that from the bass player of Javelina. And they're the band that told Relapse about us back when we signed with Relapse. So it was just this strange connection of
events.
Yeah. And so that's how I got into playing guild. Immediately fell in love because I love a heavy bass. These aren't very heavy basses, but I got used to it because I'm like, man, tone over weight, like they're just awesome. But I love that. Like, I love when you're holding a bass and you go to talking to the microphone. It's like,
you like that?
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. But yeah. So I got another Guild after that, another B301, and then sold that one because it kind of didn't mean much to me. But yeah, I got out of that, and then I got for some reason I got a P bass after that, which was cool. And then I stepped out and was like, well, not really stepped out. I don't really know what you call it, but I got an Ibanez, that the Black Eagle. That was interesting. I was like, am I really just not giving a fuck? And then yeah, and then Yamaha came along. I was like, man, last time I saw a Yamaha or played a Yamaha, I was like 14. It was my brother's guitar, like through a Gorilla amp, like a 60-watt Gorilla amp, and I was like, man, that was my memory of Yamaha, like back, like, you know, in the early 90s.
You gotta cleanse the palate.
Yeah, and then I started playing their basses, and I was like, what is this? This is awesome.
To me, Yamaha.
I'm like totally sold, dude.
And is this the same thing? Is this a month old bass, or is this?
No, this is like maybe 4 months, but this has never been released in the U.S. It's a maple neck. It's a BB Series 2024X. Really, really, really cool bass. That's my favorite. That's why I haven't broken this one in so much.
Okay, so you're playing this one most of the night.
Yeah, that's the.
So I probably shouldn't be holding this one.
No, you can, dude. I throw it. I do all kinds. Like they're gonna look at these that happen on this tour. I'm just like bending and breaking shit constantly on those things, but
just proves to the you know, the ability to actually play them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but and the knobs. Sometimes I punch my bass too hard and the knobs pop off. So, but they keep sending them to me, so they're great company.
Thanks for the knobs.
Yeah. Nice knobs.
Do you like the pickups and when you're playing, are you playing like on the bridge or and the neck one more? Or,
I'm more like right here,
okay.
But those are Lollar pickups. I love Lollar pickups, and that's what, like I was saying earlier, I want to get some Lollars in here. But yeah. And
what about strings? People are always curious about that, strings and string gauges.
Diodario and just big old fat, I don't know, I'm not a gearhead.
But nevertheless, Diodario bass strings. This guy though, tell me about this.
This is ancient. Actually, this was my first head I played in this bass, and then it became the backup head when I got an Ampeg SVT. I went through a couple of those actually, and then I got that acoustic head for a while. That was awesome.
You got the 600, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 600 series?
Yeah. We were on tour one time, and one of the band members of Holy Grail was helping us load out and drop that thing straight up. Oh. Right. And it worked. It still worked. And then Justin Wright also most recently dropped this entire rig down, face down, and it still works. Like he tripped over a cable during a music
That's
video
what he
thing.
says.
But yeah. Really, he was like, God, this sucks. But yeah, so this is I love this thing so much. It's been my backup head. I've tried to make other things my main head, and this, luckily they all keep breaking, and I've ended up with this, and it's very resilient, just awesome, good tone. I've had this from the very, very beginning. It's got lots of spit on it. And
is it like 610 or
215?
Oh,
yeah.
Thumper.
And yeah, I've had this. This thing has been to hell and back, man. And it's still kicking. So I love it.
What do you like about the 15 speakers, the 15-inch speakers, playing live?
I mean, it seems like it has that depth and the balls that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time I'd played, well, I won't mention, but I played other cabs, and it kind of it made things like real thin and pingy. Mm-hmm. This has more, it feels warmer and more full to me, so. And
you don't use any pedals at all, so how are you generating?
I use this. This is a magic pedal that I actually can't play bass, but when I hit the polytune, it's I don't know what it is, but
you miraculously in tune.
Yeah, I know what to do. Helps me sing too. Keeps my voice in tune. Yeah.
I didn't know that about the polytune.
Yeah.
That's great. Those guys, those Danish folks in TC Electronic are great. But no, how do you get the multitude of sounds that you go through a set? Just having your bass and your amp, are you adjusting the amp, or is it more about just how you're playing, or is it controls in the bass itself? all the above?
It's pretty much I keep it on these levels at all times. And as far as playing goes, I play like shit. I play hard and sloppy, but I'm not trying to be that way, but I'm also not trying to. I've never been a player that just wants to be like, look how fucking good I am. Like, I'm just not one of those people.
You're not
don't
looking
care.
at me?
Like, I feel it. I know my bass. I know it like I knew my skateboard when I was a teenager, and like I feel it. I understand it.
But you play bass enough, I'll say it, and if you don't, you play bass well enough that where it's not like, oh, you're the singer. You play bass. That sings.
I mean, I'm not gonna like. I mean, I will during sound check. Sometimes I'll be like.
I mean, that's a sweet lick, but.
Yeah. No, that's the best I got. Actually, I was gonna bust that out tonight, but you guys got a preview.
So, I mean, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
2 basses, 1 amp, and the pedal that controls everything.
Yeah. You ever wonder where we get our sound from, Royal Thunder? Yeah, that's it, right there.
Boom, set.
Got glory holes on the side, too.
Oh, Jesus.
It's pretty cool. This thing's awesome. I'm telling you.
On that note, Mel, I think it's your time. It's your time to leave.
Yeah.
It's time for Will. All right, last but definitely not least, Will. Will, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Let's dig right into this Les Paul. What's
Yep.
What's special about this one for you?
I think it is the first or only new guitar I ever bought.
Really?
Yeah, I got it in 2003
Damn.
on
You've had it for a long time.
on a telephone.
Oh,
Like
wow.
when you would call the 800 number, and I was drunk, and
You drunk dialed.
Yeah, and it was like, woke up the next day, just like, did I just spend like $2,200 on a guitar? And then
At least it showed up.
It showed up, and it was awesome, and I loved it. But then I started a band that tuned to B,
That's not gonna really cut it.
so they sat under a bed for like 10 years.
Damn.
And then when I started playing with these guys, I was like, oh wait, I got that gold
I
top.
got that one rock guitar.
So yeah, I pulled it out, and it's all I've been playing for.
Have you done anything since you got it
Nope.
on your mysterious call?
No, I haven't done
No pickups
anything
or
to it.
anything?
Pickups, nothing.
Cool.
You know, just beat it up a little bit.
Yeah, but that comes with the territory.
Yeah, yeah.
That's with the ownership.
But
Do you have no other guitars? This is just it?
this is it.
Man, I love that.
I mean, I have a custom I would bring for a backup, but I'd never play it. And we just are, we're in a tiny van, so there was no space. And Josh had bought
He's brought like 3 or 4. So.
well, yeah, because he got like a new SG and a Tele, and he was like, man, I don't know which one I want to bring. And I was like, well, I don't ever play another guitar, so I was like, you bring all of those, and
Just bring this guy.
if I break a string, I'll grab your SG or something. So,
Oh, there you go.
so that's it.
Cool. And is your Marshall the same, similar?
Same head. The cab's different. I got the greenbacks in it.
Is that just for, I guess, to have 2 different sounds coming off stage?
Yeah, I mean, I used to have greenbacks in like some of my oranges, and I was like, oh, I'll go back to those. It's been a little weird because with all my overdrives and stuff, I've been using vintage 30s the past couple of years, so now they're all just like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah.
This is so this is the first tour with it, and we haven't had sound checks, so it's like 30 seconds, like, I think that sounds good, and then you play the song, and you're like, oof,
I'm gonna go
that
back.
doesn't really sound good. But yeah, it's cool though. And then just a couple of overdrives, fuzzes.
What's the trifecta here? What's that? How do you use that? I don't think I've ever been introduced to that pedal.
It's just like the kind of like just the over the top fuzz.
Okay.
And on this run, I'm just using it. I think I'm just using it once, like for like a lead part.
Okay.
And then like the dunes, that's more for like just like the medium kind of overdrive.
Yeah.
And then I got the
Archer.
the Archer and this Mr. Black right here that I've been jumping back and forth just for like a light drive.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of almost like a transparent boost,
Yeah.
almost.
But we're doing a bunch of new tunes as well that I didn't really use that many effects in the studio, so it's
Yeah.
like live trying to figure out, what
What you
effect I'm going to put on them, and So I've just been kind of dancing around.
You got the carbon copy?
Yeah, then carbon copy. Which is just, I've always used a lot of delays. Like with my old bands, I had like the Fuggers, the electro harmonics, and but I usually am pretty rough on them. And this thing, man, you can just beat the hell out of it.
Resilient.
Yeah, I want to get one of those. What is it? They got the shit. Josh has one of them. The other, oh man, what is it? They came out with the tape.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember what it is.
Tape Echo.
And then they brought me that Univibe out, which, because I got a part in a new song that I'm trying to figure out what kind of vibe I want, right? And I thought maybe I want a Univibe.
If you have to say the Univibe. What's this big blue box in the top left?
That's the Cadaverous reverb. And then I use that on probably like 2 tunes, 2 or 3 on this run, I think. And then
what do you do with the digital delay here, the DD500?
Not much, really. It's because I'm really lazy and I don't like go and like program anything. But we were starting to do a tune off the new record that, like in the studio, I kind of made a preset for this certain sound. So I was like, oh man, I have to bring that pedal. But now we're not playing the song, so,
so
it just sits there. So I'll just randomly like make some settings and turn it on just to make noise and stuff. But if I'm ever, get off my lazy ass and actually, make some presets for all the different songs.
That's a day down the line.
Yeah, I'm so lazy about it. And then the Deja Vibe I use in conjunction with this for like 2 songs. But sometimes I have it on the vibrato and another song I have it on the chorus setting. So, and then the polytune.
And as Mel told us, that's the whole, mystique behind the band is the polytune.
The polytune.
That's what she told us.
Because we're always out of tune.
Well, at least you're all out of tune at the same time.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, Will, appreciate it, man.
Hey,
I know people are trying to get in here, so
yeah.
We'll get off the stage so everyone can come in. This is Chris Keys from Your Guitar, Nashville, Tennessee. Another rig rundown.
Don't forget to sign up for PG Perks, your all-access pass to exclusive gear giveaways and discounts on PremierGuitar.com.